Right.
Good.
How you been? What are sales up to?
Oh shit. What do you mean? What are they down to?
What are they down to last 30? How bad is it?
About 9,000.
Okay. What's the cause of that?
Focusing on legal activities.
Mm, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, just crazy stuff.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yep, yep. Where are you?
Right now I'm in Miami, down here for the weekend, visiting Dom from GoToLister, my partner,
Yep.
and just kind of messing around a little bit. There's an event going on here that they sell all different types of products. Not a lot of Amazon. I don't think any Amazon sellers are going to be here, but they sell products that I sell on Amazon. So I'm going to go and mingle around and see if I can land new suppliers or at least see my supplier that I know one of them is going to be there. So
Nice for your wholesale operation.
yeah, yeah, and a little bit of private label too. So it's cool.
Good. Nice.
hmm Thinking outside the box,
You know it, bud.
we're live, baby.
Hey,
So what else is new? Do you use, this is kind of random, but do you use ChatGPT at all?
a little bit, yes.
Do you use it? I know you're going through the legal issues. Do you use it for that?
No, I was mainly using it to create list of real estate agents that I may market to for book pickups and so forth.
Nice.
Um, and really a lot of research for other things that I do, and so I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, it fascinates me how some people use it and some people don't. And I feel like almost every entrepreneur I know uses it. That's why I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
Because a lot of people your age aren't using it, outside of like my dad didn't. He's never even searched anything on there before. I find it crazy. But then there's people like my friend. He married this woman who's a lawyer, and she doesn't use it at all, and it just blows my mind. So I think it's an entrepreneur thing. I think entrepreneurs really like to use it.
Well, yes, I've been reading a lot about AI, and it's sounding like a lot of the lawyers and the paralegals and a lot of others are going to be replaced by AI.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you don't want to be in that profession right now.
Yeah, just like paying $1,500 to have like a legal statement kind of written up. Like it's pretty easy now to have like a framework that maybe the government knows is good, and then you can use AI to operate around the framework. And how is that going to be too much different than a lawyer? I'm sure the lawyer they'll catch nuances and stuff, but if we're just setting up a business agreement instead of paying $1,500, like all the boxes could be checked, pretty quickly with.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been creating my own legal documents for a decade now,
Yeah,
and the AI simply helps with that. And most of the time, I'll just give my lawyers a copy of the documents that I have and say, "Look, go ahead and poke holes in a little bit, but this is the document I want. So
yeah,
just make it legal."
yeah, 100%. Realtors is a good tip, says Junkman. So is probate attorneys and banks.
Well, it's interesting. I do a lot of traveling. In fact, I was listening to you and I can't remember the guy's name today. I had a very good day. I got about $1,800 in profit in
I,
6 hours. It was great. Um, but where was I going with that?
you were saying traveling.
Yes, yes. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I found an old one from Caleb, and he was talking about going to the setting up some notifications for the real estate websites,
Okay. Yeah.
Zillow and yeah, Redfin, and you can get notifications for when a house goes on the market. You get the address and you send them a postcard saying you have any books.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah, and so
Yeah.
I've got a database locally of about 400 houses going up for sale. I'm going to plaster all of them with just old-fashioned postcards, and it'll be interesting.
Yeah. And what's really interesting is automating stuff like that. There's this one guy, Book Masters. A lot of the people in the comment section have probably gotten his business card. Have you never gotten one? Bookmaster's like online arbitrage. It's a leads list for books. I'm not sure how good it really is, but the guy's been in business for years, so he must be doing something.
Uh-huh.
But what he does is he monitors new Amazon accounts that sell under the book category, somehow extracts their address, and then automatically sends them a small postcard that tells them he's got this group, Bookmasters, people join it. I don't think it's like super active, but everyone I know in the book space, most people I know have gotten that letter. So,
That's interesting. No, I haven't, but it's an interesting business model.
mhm. So that'll be cool. For people that don't know who you are and are brand new, do you kind of want to break down your business model and what really works for you? And what I think is fascinating, you drive far, which I think is huge. I think that's why I've had so much success is because I've driven so far. Like I drove all the way to California from Tennessee, and I'm not afraid to drive. And you drive pretty far too. And if you're willing to drive far, then like wherever you're at, whether it's a medium to large size city, or even if you live in the middle of nowhere, like if you drive to enough places, there's probably going to be some places that are good. And then if you just keep going to the good places like every month or so, that you're replenishing from a good source. So do you want to talk about that?
Sure, sure. Well, yes, I'm George Smith, Geo Smith, and I've been doing this for I think about 18 months now. I rely almost solely on cherry picking and mainly thrift stores. And I know a lot of people say you can't build the business, you can't base it on thrift stores, but I think you can if you're willing to find the good thrift stores. And I've had backroom access, but not much. Today I had, I think, 2,000 scans. And sometimes I only went to thrift stores and walked out with 1,800 in profit. If you're willing to find the good thrift stores and consistently attack those thrift stores, you're going to have success. Right now, my sales are down. Um, I really got messed up beginning with that thing in March, where we couldn't get the buy box to kill us. It was going to Glenn and the other FBM guys, and it drove the prices down like crazy. And so that's my crutch, that's my excuse. But also there are other life events happening. But anyway, we were up to 14,000. Now we're down to about 9,000, and we're working on getting it back up.
Someone's asking what state you're in. It's in the title, Louisiana.
No, no, it's not Louisiana. It's Idaho. Idaho. It's funny, Avery. The last time we did one of these, and I think I told you, I was at my local library sale, and some guy said, "You're Geo Smith." Oh, fuck. And now people recognize me. I don't want this, and so I text you and said, "Avery, I'm out. I don't want this." It's the first time I saw him at my library sale.
I don't think it takes too much exposure on the book space online to become book famous at a library sale. I don't think.
Yeah, but I had this library sale for months and months, all to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a greedy bastard, and I know that. But and now I've got a few people competing with me.
They're gonna start following you on your route. But the thing is, you drive pretty far. Like you wake up 3:30, right? That's
So sometimes, typically I wake up at 4:30. I'm an old fart, and so I can't sleep very long. But yes, sometimes I'll drive for 2 or 3 hours, wake up at 1:30, 2:30 in the morning, and then start right when they open and start working my way back. If I have to take a hotel room, I'll do that.
Do you know how many scans you're averaging on your trips? You track that kind of thing or not really?
Well, no, what I find typically in a day of scanning, and a day of scanning to me is maybe 4 to 5 hours before I just start going blurry eyed and my knees start giving out. But I can expect 2 to 3,000 scans.
Mm-hmm.
And what that'll work out to, oddly enough, is about 2 to 3,000 in profit.
Mm-hmm.
It's strange the numbers the way they work out.
Yeah.
Typically, I get about $1 profit per scan.
That's interesting. How particular are you with scanning at different locations?
You mean as far as what I'll accept?
You walk in the store and I mean, what sections are you even going after? Are you going after? Do you mess around with fiction?
No fiction. Well, in fact, I pulled out about $200 in profit of fiction today, but just because I didn't feel like going to another store and I had to cook dinner, and so I wanted to get home. Um, but typically, I'll stay in nonfiction and just the standard stuff that we always talk about. I'll scan through the textbooks, the religious books. Uh, Travel hasn't been very good to me. Pets haven't been very good to me. Science, yes. History, literature, and some cookbooks. I mean, you really have to be particular in the cookbooks, but you can find some gems.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
And,
I've been I've dabbled in disc media a little bit. I mean,
okay.
Mike Hughes book guy's hard into it,
Yeah.
but he's doing a lot of getting the new stuff and listing them as new. So I told Mike, man, you have balls this big. I don't want to list anything as new, even if it's new.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, no, I've dabbled in it, and I use that term directly just because I haven't had that much success with disc media.
Mm-hmm. Scanning it as used. You haven't. What about DVDs? Like,
Well, that's disc media.
okay. What?
But yeah, DVDs, CDs. I mean, it probably makes up 10% of my sales,
Mm-hmm.
and probably 10% of my effort. And so it may work out. I
Gotcha.
found that pawn shops are great for DVDs.
Porn
Uh,
shops?
Pawn shops, not porn, dude. Get your head out of the gutter. So, yes, pawn shops, and if they're good pawn, now you got me going. Pawn shops,
It's your Louisiana accent. I'm just messing. I heard it right the first time.
yes, yes. The good ones will normally have pretty good DVDs and normally a buck a piece.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I found, I've been out of the game, like, trying to make a living from this for years now, but I've been messing around with it a little bit, and I find sometimes the stores that have bad books have good CDs and DVDs, or good CDs, bad DVDs. Like, one section hits and the other sections don't, you know. But
That's interesting. I haven't made the correlation,
mhm,
but I haven't even tried it just because typically, again, if I'm on my way home and I don't feel like hitting another store, just to get in the last hour, I'll go ahead and hit some disc media. And it seems hit or miss for me.
mhm,
And again, the sales, I don't see the profitability of the books with disc media. It's rare that you just get the home run every once in a while. In books, I had several home runs today, and so that those are the things that keep you motivated, and those are the things that keep the money coming in.
100%. What's your minimum scan profit amount before you purchase a book, says Rhonda?
$5. I mean, I'm aiming for more than that, but I want a $5 profit and a $20 ASP or $20 price tag.
Mhm.
You know,
If you had a friend that you wanted to help out start this business, and they were like gung ho, you knew they were going to take action, like, what are the first few things you would tell them to do? Like, they got Friday coming up, they get off work at 5, they don't work all weekend. What would you, let's just say they live in um, Jacksonville, Florida. What would you tell
Jacksonville. Okay, you just pulled that out of your ass.
them? I don't know why. I thought about Nashville, but I didn't want to use Nashville.
um, uh, just go at it. Just get after it. I mean, watch the YouTubes at night after work. Watch a YouTube at night. All the players get on the Facebook pages, soak up as much as you can, and then just get out there. Go to just the standard Goodwills, the other thrift stores, and start scanning. And you're going to stumble. You're going to buy a bunch of crap. I mean, I still have 200 to 400 crap books on my store that I'm still trying to work through. But you're going to stumble. You have to get used to doing it, and you have to get into the habit of doing it. I mean, if you're working full time and you're going to do this every Friday evening or every Saturday, whatever, set out 4 or 5 hours, whatever you can do, and do it every single week until you really start learning how to do this. And once you do, you're going to start getting the buy box, and then you're going to start selling some product.
Yeah. Have you ever helped a new seller? Does anyone in the group ever hit you up and say like, "Hey, help me out," or does it not happen that much?
No, I comment every once in a while,
Yeah.
um, and I also ask for advice. I mean,
Yeah.
I still consider myself a neophyte in this. I've been doing it for what, a year and a half now, but I still have so much to learn, and I'm still
Yeah.
buying some shit books. I
Yeah.
mean, my wife Britta is the one that lists it, and so I'll go into my inventory after a week or two after buying a group of books, and I'll think, why the hell did I buy this piece of shit?
Do you know what she does listing wise? Does she wait overnight to submit? Does she wait 3 hours to submit? What's kind of her philosophy with adding items to a batch?
Typically 3 to 6 hours. I mean, she's become more of an expert in GoToLister than I have. I mean,
Yeah.
she's really just pounding it out. She's participating in the group. Um, she's quite an asset, and I think what she typically does is waits about 6 hours.
Okay.
And we've been very fortunate that we've had very few kicked out. It's funny. Maybe a week ago, we had one day where we had just a ton kicked out. Out of a 30 book box, we had 15 kicked out, but that hasn't happened for a month or two. And so, but those are just some of the things that happen in this business. But in general, yes, she'll wait 6 hours. Right now, she's seasoning them overnight for a group going out tomorrow, just because I didn't buy the dunnage today that she needed to pack the books.
You did buy the what?
Dunnage, the stuffing, the wrapping
Oh
paper.
yeah.
I
What
get
do
it
you
at
do
Home
that?
Depot.
Oh, it's like is that the printer's paper?
No, just
Paper.
painters. Yeah,
That's what
painters paper.
painter's paper. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just rolls and rolls of this stuff,
Yeah.
and we go through it like candy.
Yeah. Dude, back in the day, I used to pack boxes to FBA. I remember it was my first time ever meeting Caleb Roth, and I was at the after party with a girl from MIT, him, Travis from Acceleralist, like all these people sitting around. And I remember telling, like, I was like giving people advice on how to pack boxes, and I was like, I put water bottles in like old cans in my car. Caleb's like, yeah, don't do that. And like looking back, I can't believe that like just to mess around with your Amazon account like that. Back then it was like whatever, nobody got their account shut down. But
It was the Wild West.
they'll threaten your account shut down if you send a box with Walmart on the outside of it sometimes, like they're crazy. Like so you gotta be careful.
Well, I tried sending out a box in a wine box, and UPS wouldn't take it because it was a wine box.
Yeah. There was this guy's name was Matt Adolf. Matt Adolf, and he used to go to all the book selling events, and he talked about liquor boxes. He would go behind liquor stores and get boxes and cut them and invert them for putting books in. I used to be on a budget, man. I would go to FedEx because FedEx was the main partner like 6 years ago, and I would give them 30 up labels and have them print the effing SKUs, and then I would label the books, or I'd have them print the labels for the box. Like I never would pay for labels or tape. I would just find boxes, or maybe I'd pay for a box, but FedEx was paying for the rest. So,
boy, we've come a long way, baby.
Yeah. It's crazy to think too, like my idea of money back then, I thought I could live in my car. I watched this one lady on YouTube and she was making it by for $250 a month. She was surviving. I'm like, oh, if this old like 7-year-old lady can survive off $250 a month, I can probably survive off of like $150 because I'm not going to spend nearly as much as she does. Like she's old, First week after buying KFC, Chipotle, I didn't realize how much that costs. Like probably 4 days in, I'm $300 deep on fast food and shit. Just grossly underestimated how much it costs to survive because I just wrestled in college and I was like, oh, I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah, if
listening.
this old bitch could do it, I could do it on
Yeah,
half.
that's literally what I thought. And I was just like, I think I was spending over 1,500 a month out the get. Like it was bad. You do
Yeah,
any?
this is an
Yeah.
interesting question. Do I do any FBM? I was, but I've always been worried that it would ding my account because I've heard the horror stories about small sellers like me getting into FBM and ruining my 100% ranking. Uh, I like to maintain that 100%. And so right now I'm doing zero FBM. The ones that I would send in FBM, I'm sending them to eBay. I've got some long tails going to eBay, and I've been selling maybe 3 to 5 books a day on eBay, which I'm going to get out of that. But no, I don't do any FBM. By the way, Avery, Brett and I are moving. We're looking to downsize. The kids are getting out of the house. I don't need a big ass house. We're looking to buy a small house, or I'm going to build the house in the country. And so for maybe 6 months while I'm building the house, I'm going to be not living in a car like you did, but we're going to get a trailer and we're going to live
Oh,
in a
nice.
yeah, we're going to live in a trailer and travel around and
Oh,
scan some
that's
books and
awesome.
stuff.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. That would be
yeah.
cool. Yeah, go to the Northeast, man. That's where all the good books. That's where a lot of the good books are.
And a lot of the competition.
Yeah, that's true too. But I mean, I just remember back in the day, we were going to thrift stores and finding $100 book every other thrift store. Me and Andrew Kahn. We went from Portland, Maine, down to Washington D.C. and we found $14,000 in profit. Realized like that's what we realized over. I think it was 6-7 months took us to make
Yeah.
a 2 week period. We sent in 2,000 books, and that's how much we made. And yeah, it's good up there. I mean, other parts of the country are good too. So, but up there, it's just they're a little spoiled, I think.
A little spoiled. Let me see.
While you're scanning, do you scan every book in the sections you were talking about, or do you skip over certain books and only go for books that you think might have value?
Well, if I see a purpose-driven life, I'll skip over that. There are several that after you've done this a little bit, you know to skip over.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes you
in
just scan
general,
so fast, though, you accidentally scan that South.
what's that?
Sometimes you just scan so fast that you already pull it out, and it's like, well, that's how I was. I'd be scanning, and South Beach Diet would come out, and I'd be like, oh shit, that scan.
Yeah, yeah. And like you said, when you get in the drone phase, you just scan, scan, scan.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're not really looking at the titles, you're only looking at the sections where you're scanning. And so, but in general, I don't scan the fiction unless I'm bored or I just have an hour left to just scan stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, no, not every book. Let me see.
Scott said, new seller about a month in. I have 6 sales and 2 returns. Is there any extra I can do to avoid returns? I put lots of notes regarding condition.
Yeah, that's. It sounds like that was just a fluke, because your return should be 5% or less, and so to have 40% returns,
Yeah.
you know. First, look at the books that you're sending in. Are they good books? But in general, try to keep your returns around 5%. And the only way you can control that is just by sending in good books.
Mm-hmm. So with your $5 profit minimum, do you also raise your profit threshold to 5, or are you keeping a lower profit on Scoutly you're using, right?
Yeah, Scoutly.
Are you lowering, like, are you getting notifications like a $2.50 profit book and leaving it on the shelf? Are you getting that false positive, or are you only getting notified for $5 profit books?
Only $5 or more. I also have, I think, a ranking of 2 million or less. So yes, I set it at $5. And I mean, look, Scoutly and Scout IQ, they're all kind of crazy sometimes. Sometimes it'll show me to buy an $8 book with a $1 profit, and that's not even in my trigger sets.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, for the most part, it's going to be the $5 minimum.
Yeah, I wonder
It's
why.
funny. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else has run across this, and it happens to me all the time now. But if I miss a scan, if I'm getting ready to scan a book and I scan away from the barcode, sometimes whatever I was listening last on my phone comes blaring out.
Hmm.
So if I'm listening to a podcast or if I'm listening to music
Oh, it'll.
or YouTube, it just I miss a scan and it just automatically comes on.
Huh.
And I told the story. I used to listen to podcasts from Reezy a lot, and
Yeah.
Reezy used to have a really dirty mouth.
Yeah.
And so I'm in a bookstore and I miss a scan, and here comes Reezy just throwing out the 4-letter words. Funny stuff.
That's funny. Yeah, there's some funky stuff that happened. Maybe it's something to do with the audio, like the apps queuing an audio part of your phone or something. Do you listen to other podcasts, or is it mainly reselling stuff? Like, are you listening to stuff the whole time, or when you're driving, do you have a podcast on?
When I'm driving, I always have a podcast on, unless it's Friday heading home and I'm listening to music and I have a beer in my hand.
Yeah.
But yes, in general, it's always a bookseller podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Selling used books. We'll need invoice on your Amazon account. This guy's from Hong Kong. He was here last week. Details are just receipt acceptable for shops. Well, I know you're based out of Asia, so I don't recommend selling used books unless you're going to do like an Amazon model. What we're talking about here is thrifting, going to thrift stores and finding books. But in order to get ungated in books, there's christianbook.com, which will get you ungated in particular brands like DC, Marvel, and then also CDs and DVDs. So anyone that wants to get ungated, you can just type in how to get ungated in CDs, DVDs, Roamer the Roamer, and I'll show you how. But for everyone else just starting out, you are going to be gated in a lot of books, and all you need to do is just sell more books, and eventually it's going to open up and allow you to sell all of them. Just sell what you can at the beginning, set the ones you can't sell aside, and then eventually you'll be able to sell everything. It just is a matter of time before Amazon trusts you enough to sell. If you're in Hong Kong, man, I would do private label. Like, you're already over there. Find some products you can list on Amazon, and I wouldn't be worried about used books if I was in Asia.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting scenario politically. With the China tariffs and things like that. Mm-hmm. And frankly, I'm glad I don't have to deal with that. You know, I was in private label for a little bit, and after pissing away $10,000 on advertising and all that, I'm glad I'm not relying on China right now for my entire business.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of reminds me of what's going on with Amazon. Is like, you never know when like gating is going to happen that really screws up your business, or an account suspension or something. And it kind of reminds me of the same thing. It's like all of a sudden we have 146% tariffs. That throws a wrench in things, if that's real, which now they're taking the pause or whatever. But I think every business does have that level of vulnerability where a government or a large platform can kind of pull the plug or change the rules, and then you're really at risk. Like, there's no business that's incredibly safe from that. Like, real estate feels a lot better. Like, me having 10 houses that I own and I have renters in them each month feels pretty safe. But even then, there's property tax. The government could all of a sudden jack that up. Like, there's always risk in each business. Amazon.
Every form of business has its risks. No matter, you can't shelter yourself from the risk completely.
Junkman says, we here in Michael Berry Show believe that every hard-working American man and lesbian woman should have a cold beer on the way home.
I like that.
Amazon Accelerate 2025, September 16th through 18th. That's 1 month before Books and Beyond Conference, which is happening October 10th, I believe, 10th through 12th. Did I ever go? Yeah, I went last year. Went to the Amazon Accelerate. It's a good conference.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, they put on just a giant conference. It's like super, I don't know if corporate's the right word for it. It's pretty cool. They have 5 levels, and it's really focused on if you're a brand owner. So like if you're a reseller, when you're talking to Amazon, you're going to feel a little bit out of place because they're all about servicing brand owners and like creating your brand, building your brand, all that.
Right.
Gotcha. I was there with Sell Back Your Book guys. We were hanging out, and on the first floor, it was all the sponsors, open bar. Tickets are expensive. You have to have an active Amazon account to enter. And don't ask me how I got in.
No, you just picked one of your accounts, right?
But I was in there. And that's a whole nother story. 5 levels. There's the CEOs and the different divisions, like giving talks throughout the day. It does feel very corporate. You know, they're essentially bragging about how many accounts they shut down over the year by saying how many bad actors they got. So I listened to one guy talk about that, but it was a cool event overall. Like, but if you go, I would just message a few booksellers or friends or something. But it's a good experience I think any Amazon conference is worth going to if it's remotely close to what you're interested in or selling. So right. I don't know if I'll be there this year, but I was there last year. Pretty cool.
Good.
Michael Berry, he's Louisiana. Is Texas, Louisiana folk. He says that every
There is Texas, Louisiana folk. Like, do you use GoToLister? Yes, Britta uses GoToLister, and she is now an expert in GoToLister. Man, have you seen Reagan? Wow.
He's been up there.
Yeah, but yes, we use GoToLister. It is the best. I was dyed-in-the-wool AccelerList, and I was using AccelerList and GoToLister at the same time. I was just having a hard time making the break from AccelerList. When Britta started listing our books, she was full on GoToLister, and so we canceled AccelerList.
Yeah, we got mobile listing. It's in a beta test phase right now, but I imagine we're actually going to launch it in the next. I mean, if you guys want to test it, email us at support@gotolister.com, but you can list books via your phone now. So the reason why that's exciting is Amazon doesn't let you submit the batch, or they do. We let you submit the batch, but Amazon's not going to let you list the items until the listings are fully created, and that can take up to 24 hours. So the idea is if you have the mobile app and you go ahead and just scan the book into a batch, then it's ready to rock and roll. And by the time you get home and submit the batch, all the listings are created, so you can get batches out the door faster. So hopefully you guys will like that. I know I would have liked it back in the day, as I was traveling around just to list books on the go. And then, of course, you're not labeling the books until the second phase anyway. You know, so by the time you get home, all the books are in there. Get home, click on print all, and then hopefully your books are in order in the box, label them, and then get them out the door. So
it works.
Selling used books need authorization from the brand or just shop invoice is working. Yeah, with used books, it's just making Amazon trust you. You just got to sell enough books, and then eventually they'll open the floodgates. You do need approval to sell DC, Marvel, like certain brands of books, textbooks. There's ways to sell textbooks, but that's a whole nother.
Just send them to eBay. I mean, that's what I've been doing.
They've been doing good there.
It's picking up, but I'm going to have to liquidate everything. I mean, I've got just a shit ton of books back here that if we're going to be moving out of this house, and so I need to do something with all of this inventory. And I understand that, I've been doing Facebook ads, free book pickup, come get whatever you want. And I've been having some pretty good traffic coming through my house.
Yeah, that's awesome. Any Amazon sellers? I know you're putting that they're not. They've already.
I let them know that, look, these have all been scanned. They haven't been scanned for eBay, but they've been scanned for, they're my duds, okay?
Yeah. Also, if you guys want to monetize textbooks, bookscouter.com is a good one to go to. I'll show you guys real quick. Textbook season's coming up too here in July and August. So let's just say you have biology 11th edition. You got to be able to spell biology first. click on see prices, sell this book. Now you're in the selling phase. This book used to sell for a lot more, but now you can sell this book, get $3. They cover shipping, books run. This is one option. You also have restrictedinventory.com or eBay. I know a lot of big bulk sellers use eBay. So if you can't sell a textbook on Amazon, those are kind of your options. Do you have any strategy for textbook season, or do you just keep everything the same?
I do. I mean, I don't do anything different for textbook season, for Christmas, Q4, whatever. I just go to thrift stores, buy good books, give them to Britta. She sends them to Amazon, and just the money flows in like crazy.
Mm-hmm. Where do you source your books? Someone from Hong Kong's asking.
Oh, mainly thrift stores. I do go to some library sales. In fact, out of the blue, I had somebody. No. In fact, Britta found it on Facebook that somebody was trying to get rid of a bunch of books from a hoarder house. He bought the hoarder house. He was going to make a rental out of it, and he had tons and tons of books. I said, "Well, I want them all." Dumbass me, I'm 63 years old. I'm going to go and haul away, 8,000 books. And so by the time I get there, it was down to about 5,000. And we hauled all these books into my garage.
Wow.
I have probably 500 books left after having everybody from the local area come over and take free books. But so many of these books, they were just shit books. I mean, travel books from the 1970s and things like that. Just nobody's going to want this stuff.
Yeah.
I was surprised at how few books I got out of 5,000 books. It was ridiculous. It's not something I'm going to do again.
A pro tip: when you're living in a trailer, if you do any crazy book ventures, which this is some golden sauce right here. Me and Caleb were keeping this on the low for a while, but if you go to Google Alerts, you can set up alerts for like colleges closing down and libraries closing down. And so if you see a library closing down, let's just say in Colorado, and you mail them a letter or you reach out to them and say, hey, like, I'm a book collector, I'll take everything. What we would do when we got, I'm going to say good at this, we learned our lesson that if you say you're going to take everything, it's a shit ton of work. Taking a whole library of books, they only might be 5-10% of the books are good. 10% if you're lucky, honestly, probably 5%. What are you going to do with the 95% that are not good? And what we did is we would get recyclers to put their dumpsters outside of the library. It's a terrible look, but what you can do is just take all the books, throw them in the dumpster, maybe hire some kids to do it. And then if the market's right, the recycler will actually pay you for the books. If the market's not right, I don't know what the recycling market's like right now, but sometimes they pay you for books, sometimes they don't. And then I think we made $4,000 off of books. It was about 3 hours from Nashville, Tennessee, in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee. Me and my Haitian roommate from college, we just graduated. Caleb had us go out there. Caleb flew out there. We cleaned up the whole library. And then he was like, hey, actually, can you go like put all the books in the dumpster? So then I drive back from Nashville to middle of nowhere. Caleb's no longer there. I spent the whole day lifting 100 to 140 pound boxes and just throwing them over my head into this dumpster. Honestly, like one of the hardest physical labor things I've done. I think we got paid $4,000 for it. And Caleb's ass split it 50-50 with me.
From what I recall, he split it 70-30, didn't he?
70-30 was the yes. It might have been 70-30. I think the recycling money was 50-50. But I think I know for sure you're right. The actual and that's not even really with his damn spreadsheet. I bet I got hit with the long-term storage and removal fees after he got paid all of his profit. You know what I mean?
Well, and I'm not trying to be a stalker or anything, but I heard you today when I was traveling. You said I was trying to hit 500,000 that year, and so I said, Caleb, let's put it on my account, okay? He said, okay, but I get 70% of the profits.
Yeah. That's what it was. I think it was originally going to be like 60-40, and then my dumb ass said, because it's worse. And I'll tell you why it's worse. And this is what everyone needs to realize if they're going to do consignment. if you're selling books for someone else and you immediately pay them the profit, let's just say a library gives you 1,000 books. It's going to cost you, let's just say, a couple $100 to ship them in, if not more.
Right.
Yeah, let's just say $500 to ship the books in. So you're negative there, but you're going to split it with them because the books are going to go cash flow positive, let's say, in the first 2 months. Let's say the first payout for them, $1,600 total profit on the account. You pay them $800. All right, things are good. You've already reimbursed yourself the $500 for the inbound shipping fees. But what you don't consider is when Amazon smacks you with the long-term storage fees 6 months down the road, you've already paid the library out, let's just say, $4,000 for the books, or maybe it's not that much for that many books. Let's just say it's $2,000 for all those books. You've kept $2,000 for yourself. Now you're the one being stuck with the long-term storage fees. You're the one being stuck with the removal fees. Any fee that the books incur after you've paid them all their profits, now you're stuck with. So at the end of the day, it's really not a 50-50 split. And I learned this the hard way via restricted inventory. And so really, like, you can tell someone it's a 50-50 split, but really it's probably a 60-40 split. Because you're going to eat the fees at the end of the day. And so whenever you go to someone for consignment, or a library, or a friend, or a collector, you can tell them, like, hey, we're going to do the 60-40, and kind of explain what I just said. Like, there's extra fees, and you're risking the account shutdown too, and what's going to happen then. So
yeah, you're stuck with them.
Yeah. So all the more reason to, negotiate more for yourself. Maybe it's even a 60-40 split, or a 70-30 like Caleb. Caleb was a good businessman. Taught me a good lesson that day.
Yes. And list good books. Mostly book is
it's because he's in China and he's not selling any used books. You got to come to America. Or I would go watch Joji Davenport if you're super interested in operating a book business from overseas.
Oh yeah, A to A. I mean, Joji is all A to A, and you can do that from overseas because you never touch the book.
Mm-hmm.
Reader's Digest.
I would be finding different private label products to deal. I would get all the products shipped to me. You can take pictures faster. You don't have to wait for them for samples a whole month. I'd mess around with that. Do you have what's your repricing strategy? It says shoe.
Yes. I use
J-bit.
You okay there? Okay. I use Reprice It. I went through the Be Cool, and I went through a few of the others.
Yeah.
Reprice It. It's not the best or most intuitive, but it's easy to use. And I use Mike the Used Book Guy's trigger settings, his latest trigger settings, with a little bit of adjustments. But yeah, you just had Mike on.
Yeah.
I like Mike.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually put his. I'm gonna take that YouTube video, download it, and I'm making like a 2-hour YouTube video course for free on my channel, and that's gonna be the repricing section because he's
Good for you. Yes.
Yeah, and it seems simple enough. It's cheap enough. So
Yep.
if you guys want the repricing template he's talking about, go to Mike the Used Book Guy on YouTube. Reprice it. And I think about 4 months ago he posted his last one.
Yeah, if you want to learn a lot about selling used books, his YouTube channel is just an invaluable resource.
Mm-hmm. I concur. Diana Jones says, can you explain the account health rating on Amazon? I have some customer noting books as fair, but it shows up under the excellent category. Anything I need to do with that? I have some customer noting the book as fair, but showing up. I'm not sure what she means by that. Do you?
But there is no condition called excellent. But nevertheless, if you get a ding on your account and somebody gives you a 1 star, if it's strictly product based, you can have that struck through by Amazon because they're very good about that. If they're bitching about the product that you sent them, you can have it struck through.
Yep. You talk about getting the buy box. Just got it yesterday. My sales exploded. I want to keep it. You know much about that?
Maintain your 5.0 rating. And
biggest thing is sales history. Like once you get those sales, you'll start getting buy box. I know people who buy box with 70% ratings. I think the most important thing is you've sold stuff on Amazon and Amazon trusts you enough That's the number one thing you can do is show them, hey, I've sold 3,000 items, only 2,800 were returned or whatever.
Well, it's volume and it's quality.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they definitely care about quality. But my theory with quality is they care more about like return rate than anything. Like,
Well, when I say quality, I'm talking about what you were talking about earlier. Is that if you have crap books, they're gonna sit there and they're gonna sit there, and you're gonna have problems down the road.
Yeah, 100%. Amazon does not like that. What else you got going on? You're messing around a little bit with the realtor stuff to get books. Other out of the box strategies.
Yeah, well, I'm excited about this. I mean, this is something that Caleb just hit on briefly years ago, and I think it's a pretty cool strategy. I pulled up uh, Redfin, and just in my local area, I had, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of houses being sold, and with Redfin, you can download the report to a spreadsheet, and so you have all the addresses. And I'm just in the infant stages here, but I'm just going to order a bunch of postcards and send them out to these people. And from what I understand, the best postcard strategy is an ugly postcard, but ugly postcards, because they get the attention. And so, and they're very cheap. And so, if I have 400 or 500 postcards to send, I'll do that, and it'll be interesting. I'll report back to you if I'm getting any results. But I'm excited about it.
Is Geo in Max's mentor group or Mike's group?
I'm in. I'm in contact with Max. It's Max Rubach. He sells antique and vintage books. He has a consignment service, and Max is pretty much the expert when it comes to that. Mike, the used book guy, I'm in his group. I just don't participate very much. I mean, I did one time, and in fact, I'm also in his Discord, but I still haven't figured out how to work Discord or what even Discord is. I just don't know. I'm in Jody's Discord. I don't know what that is. And so,
Hilarious.
Yeah. Can you be more specific
with good books and crap books? Do you have any outlines?
Yes, both quality in terms of the condition of a book. You want it to be in good condition. You don't want any water damage. You don't want any smoke smell. You don't want it written in like crazy. That's condition quality. And then just the book quality is, it's got to be something with a pretty good ranking, less than 1 million. But look, I've sold books with 7 million ranking and a good profit. You don't want something with a crappy ranking and a low profit, like about 400 of my books are right now that I'm still trying to get rid of. And so that's what I mean by good books versus crappy books. Crappy books are my 400 books that have high ranking and low sale price. Those are the ones that you want. You want to get the good books, not the crap books.
Yeah. How are you dealing with the new Amazon shipping fees? Shipping fees are always going up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't pay a whole lot of attention. I let Britta worry about that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, shipping fees are shipping fees. And I think in our ecosphere, everything kind of works out eventually. Just like this crap that we had in March with the FBM's getting the buy box and the FBA's not. These, as Reezy calls it, it's ABS. It's Amazon bullshit, and we're always having to deal with Amazon bullshit, whether it's this issue, that issue. Right now, it is shipping fees are higher. Long-term storage fees keep growing. This is just the kind of stuff we have to deal with, and we have to be smart in buying good books, shipping good books.
Yeah. Got Junkman saying KGs Antique do lives every Monday.
What was that name?
I think they're KGs Antique Rare. I think sometimes they comment on my YouTube videos.
Okay. Let me see. Max and Kent gentlemen do a live every Monday on both KGs and Antique Rare. Okay.
I think that's a YouTube channel. I think they've.
Yeah.
Well, all right, guys. I'm about to go grab some dinner here in Miami.
I'm going to go and finish cooking dinner.
I'm excited for the trailer thing. When is that going to happen?
Well, we're going to put up the house. We're having a garage sale this weekend. We've got a shit ton of stuff to sell. Try to declutter, and then we're going to put the house up for sale maybe next week. And once the house sells, we get a trailer and we're homeless.
That's gonna be awesome. Yeah,
it will be. Yeah.
Have you ever done anything like that before?
What's that?
Have you ever done like any type of living, in a trailer?
No, I haven't. I haven't. I mean, Britta doesn't like the idea whatsoever.
Really?
But I mean,
she's make her super, super comfortable.
Well, yeah, she's warming up to it, but we need. I need something to park on the property when I'm building the house. We're going to build a small house, 1,500 square feet. It's going to have a cocktail pool. It's going to be pimped out like crazy. And so, but yes, the interim time, we're going to be boat people.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So I guess next time you won't be on the road yet, probably, and then we'll ask you about your realtor hustle, how that's going, because that'll be interesting.
And what Avery's talking about is I also build houses. I mean, I'm getting out of the business, but I have a crazy ass homeowner who I sold the house to, and they're suing me, and so we're going through just a crazy time with that stuff. So,
I also just meant like you sending the letters to.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about
that too. We'll get an update on that, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd like to give an update on how reaching out to the real estate agents is going, because to me it sounds both like a good idea and also scalable. I mean, I can go out 2 hours away.
Yeah.
And so sending these to thousands of homeowners, they just happen to get that postcard in the mail when it comes in, right when they're selling their house. And so I think it may turn into something. It's going to be interesting.
What are the chances we see you in Vegas for Books and Beyond?
I'm still working on that, Avery. Yeah. Probably pretty low with all the shit going on.
Yeah.
But I would love to, that.
I'll pay your trailer park fee.
Yeah, I know you would.
All right. How do I know when you go live? Just turn notifications on YouTube. Make sure you're on my email list. And you be on my email list. You sign up for a free trial of GoToLister, the fastest listening software on the planet. We got mobile dropping soon. I like liquid. I like a good. How do you say this? The biggest story next time. Ask your lawyer for permission.
That's perfect.
Right.
You'll hear about it.
Use ChatGPT always if you're in legal issues. And have a good night, guys.
Thanks, everybody.